Be sure to go to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. It's a good deal and helps support the show. What's up, Planeswalkers? Theurix6 back with some more Magic the Gathering Arena. And since I had an 8 a.m. today, I'm actually able to record this early because I got home early and I took a nap, and now I'm refreshed, nice, wide and awake, and we're playing some sweet Magic the Gathering Arena, and we're playing the deck that I was trying to have out yesterday, but it wasn't finished yet. Now, this deck technically was meant to be Savvy Hunter, like weird food deck initially, and then I was like, I'm just going to try and play as many of the new cards in these colors as possible. So I'm also playing with Order of Midnight and Syr Konrad the Grim. Now, Savvy Hunter is actually the one that is kind of the odd one out, in that Order of Midnight and Syr Konrad both deal with the graveyard. So I was thinking, okay, let's use that. Let's make a Golgari graveyard-esque deck that essentially is just a fun mid-range deck. So that's what I have here. This isn't necessarily meant to be the future of Standard. It's literally, I just want to play this in... I want to play with these cards, essentially. And the only way to play with these cards right now is in the future Standard or in Direct Challenges. I'm not going to freaking set that up via my Discord right now. Don't have the time. Anyway. We're playing 4 Gutterbones. This card is something that can come back after dying several times, and Syr Konrad really likes that. Moldervine also likes that. Liliana also likes that. As well. Most of our deck really likes that. So being able to actually get this card back again and again is nice. Notably, we only have this as our 1-drop, so that should key you in that this is not an aggressive Aristocrat-style deck. It's not technically an Aristocrat-style deck anyway. It is just a graveyard value deck. 2 Eternal Taskmasters and 3 Order of Midnight. I split them up this way because Order of Midnight is able to fly, but it can't block. Eternal Taskmaster is able to block, but it comes in tapped. And then their rebuy abilities are very different. So Order of Midnight is just a one-off thing. You get to put a creature back into your hand from your graveyard. Sure, that's fine, that's good. And then you just pay the 2 one last time to get stuff. That's awesome. But Eternal Taskmaster allows you to do this repeatedly, although it is for a higher mana cost, being 3 mana instead of 2. So I figure that this is an okay split, and technically I would probably have it be a 3-2 split, with Taskmaster being the 3, but because this is a new card, I wanted to actually try her out a little bit, because I've played with this card, I know how well it does. For Priest of Forgotten Gods, this is our real sacrifice outlet, the thing that we mainly use to kill our own things in this deck. Obviously, it's going to pair really well with almost everything else in the deck, but being able to ramp up, per se, because we're only running 23 lands, because I don't want to flood in this deck, is very helpful. And since we have things that we get value out of our stuff dying, we don't care if our stuff dies. We want to be able to get rid of some of our opponent's creatures. Cough, cough. Single creatures like Kefnet, which I've been seeing a decent amount. 2 Voracious Hydra. I just really like this card. It's modal, and being able to buy this back later in the game seems like it scales very well, so I decided I was going to play 2 Voracious Hydras. 2 Finality of Eternity is a removal spell that I constantly try and get to work, and it can return creatures from our graveyard, which technically could do some cool things. I doubt we're going to have 11 mana, but it's possible. Or 12 mana. But for what it's worth, technically, we only need 10 if we have Priest of Forgotten Gods out. Because we sack some things, and we gain 2 mana, and then we can use this, blah, 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 you know what I'm saying? So, it's possible. I doubt it's going to happen, but, you know. For Midnight Reapers, we're planning on having a lot of things die. Midnight Reaper, very good for that. For Savvy Hunter, she makes food, and I want to play with this card. It's new. That's literally my entire justification. For what it's worth, you get to sack 2 foods and draw a card. This very well could be seen in a sacrifice-centered deck, something that is maybe Jund, that has, Mayhem Devil. So that is definitely something I could see in the future, but you would need the rest of your food production and food value cards to be in different CMCs, because you already have the 4 Savvy Hunters and the 4 Mayhem Devils, so you're not going to have a ton of room left in that 3-drop slot to actually get a lot of good food value cards. But I definitely plan on making that deck if there is a significant amount of support for it. 2 Golgari Findbrokers, just because sometimes we're going to lose our Moldervines, our Lilianas, our Vraskas, and we're going to want them back. I did have some other cards in the deck initially, which I'll talk about potentially after the games, but Findbroker is just an okay body that can get you stuff back that you want. And then, of course, we have Vraska, Golgari Queen. I still hate that I can't make more of these ones. I should have realized when I first had the option to getting all 4 that I needed to get all 4 and not just 1, but whatever, it's fine. She allows us to sacrifice our excess lands, sacrifice our Gutterbones, just sacrifice extra things that we don't need anymore, or that we actually want to rebuy. You know, if we have a Voracious Hydra that we had to play early to kill a red opponent's early draw card, and we have a way of getting it back, say with an Order of Midnight, we can actually just use Vraska to sacrifice the Hydra, get it back with Order of Midnight, and now we have access to a larger Voracious Hydra. So her +1 or +2 synergizes very well in this deck. The -3 is even more removal, which is nice, and then of course the -9 we pretty much win. Syr Konrad the Grim, strange man. 5 mana for a 5/4, it's okay. Whenever another creature dies, any creature, not just ours, a creature card is put in the graveyard from anywhere, other than the battlefield, not just ours, or a creature card leaves your graveyard, Syr Konrad deals 1 damage to your opponent. Now, I found that this is a decent top end in a deck like this that has a decent creature density. We're playing 28 creatures, and you know, if you get your opponent down to like 5-ish, and you have 10 mana across maybe 2 turns or something, you can go ahead and just machine gun them down using Syr Konrad's ability. So I definitely like this card so far. It's unfortunate that he dies relatively easily, and that he doesn't have like some sort of innate value to him, but he's an uncommon. You know, you can't ask too much of him, and I think as an uncommon, this is totally fine. We're also running a single Moldervine Reclamation because I really enjoyed this when I played it in a deck that I can't remember which deck I played it in, and you get to gain a life and draw a card when your stuff dies. Finality is an obvious card in a deck like this where we're trying to play a bunch of creatures and sack them a lot. Finality obviously can help us out in a pickle against some creature decks, and then of course Liliana, we're having creatures die. We don't care if our own die. It's good. She's just good. And then this is our mana base. I'm playing max good lands. I'm not going to play the Golos Gates or the like Jungle Hollows, I think it is, because I don't think those are sufficient for a deck like this. Now, I did play 1 game with this already, and I did not do that with the Grixis deck, and I did that for a couple reasons. Mainly, I wanted to make sure that the deck could at least function, right? I wanted to go in, because the Grixis deck, I was basing it off of something. This I wasn't, right? So I wanted to go in and be like, okay, can this deck actually like make plays? And it could, which was good. I went against Dimir Control, and I beat them with Syr Konrad. I got them down. Ooh. This is actually okay. We're not going to get value out of this, which I think is fine. But doing this turn 1, this turn 2, this turn 3 is still an okay curve. Especially if she's able to attack just twice, because then I can get that extra draw. So I think this is okay. It's not the best for sure, but it's doable. Now, the control deck, they were able to gain some life here and there because they were playing the blue-black duel. Interesting. Okay. And I'm just going to play Order of Midnight here. I forgot you can't block! You stupid. You stupid, very unsmart man. I mean, it's fine, because I doubt my opponent's going to be able to, like, buff this anyway. Whatever, it's fine. But yeah, so I was able to get them all the way down to, like, 2, and then they got back... Oh, and they played End of the God Eternals to get all the way back up to 6, and I played a Konrad, and I had a sufficient amount of mana to just mill us both, like, 3 times or something like that. And, yeah. My opponent lost a bit of life. So, my opponent here didn't realize that this can't block. So we're going to go ahead and play this Forest down, play the Savvy Hunter, and because we have Order of Midnight, we're actually fine with our Savvy Hunter dying, right? If next turn my opponent wants to stack or use their mana to buff up one of these, then that's totally fine. We can just Order of Midnight it back. We don't have the second black currently to play it immediately, but it's something we can do. And something I would absolutely do, because if my opponent does go for that route, they're attacking with both of their knights, and I'll be able to block and kill one of them. Yeah, they couldn't do it. So what's more likely is that they're going to do this on oh, they chose not to be able to do it on D. That seems interesting to me. I'll make me a food. Okay, I'm gonna Temple of Malady. I'll keep that find on top. Do I want to just play this Order of Midnight? I think I do. Yeah, I think I'm totally fine just playing this. Like, my opponent's down to 11 already. Seems decent. I do have a couple of Discord questions, which I'm so happy about. Train Conductor asks, if Wizards of the Coast hired you to add a new color to the game, what color would it be, and what themes would it have? Very good question. Oh my gosh, I can take the loop, and pull. More food. Really? Color me surprised. Let's put this back in my hand. Because if this dies by the time I cast this, then I can go on an adventure to get this back. How lovely. What would that color be? What themes would it have? So I'm going to talk a little bit about a cop-out answer first. And the cop-out essentially is, I would make it so that colorless mana isn't a thing. I would essentially turn it into, like, silver mana or something like that, right? Where it's functionally identical to colorless mana, except, I'll go ahead and stack some food. Except for the fact that you can, like, when you can make mana of any color, you can use that mana, right? Here, I'd lose some life whenever an opponent attacks planeswalker you control with one or more creatures. Okay, so since it's just one creature, I would only lose 2 life. So I'm fine with that. So all of these are going here. I mean, I could honestly even send this to guarantee the death here. And honestly, that's probably fine, so we're just going to do this. Oh no, I lost 2 life. My opponent blocks there for some reason. He doesn't even decide to kill my Gutterbones, which makes no sense to me.
A triumph of the weak.
Alright, I'll just play this. I'll save this Order of Midnight. I mean, I have a bunch of ways to reanimate things now. So, I mean, we should be in a decent position. Yes, I would change it to, like, silver. Like, literally everything else would be the same. Things like Wasteland would still produce silver mana. That's just rude. How dare you exile that? Now, obviously, that does come with a bunch of conflicts and things. But for some reason, I just find it more interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just like the idea. Ooh, another priest. And now this is where Savvy Hunter comes in hella handy. Because I can keep drawing cards off of my food. I got a Konrad. Konrad is decent for several reasons. But for example, next turn I can... So next turn I could cast Konrad, activate a priest, sack 2 things, who cares? With that double black, so Konrad would trigger a decent number of times. With that black mana, I would then use my bird... Actually, I don't even have... I would be able to use Find, because I think there'd be 2 creatures in the graveyard. I would get 2 more triggers off of Konrad, and I'd have those 2 cards back in my hand. So that's kind of the idea of the deck, and I'm glad I was able to actually show what the fuck it was meant to do. If I weren't allowed to do that... And the idea is that it would be in the center of the 5 colors. If I weren't able... I mean, there's, like, this whole idea of, like, purple and shit. Nah. It's very hard, because the 5 colors of Magic are relatively balanced in terms of their overlap with other colors, the distinctiveness. Wizards, like, obviously, I'm saying relatively, like, they're getting better over time. Black is starting to be able to have access to artifact removal. So that distinguishes a little bit more from red. Black also has generally more toughness than red creatures do. So that's another way of disambiguating. This hand is very dangerous, but I'm going to try and keep it. Yeah, this hand is very dangerous if I don't draw another land. And or my Priest of Forgotten Gods dies. Because the plan essentially is play out this Priest next turn. And the turn following, I'll be able to play Taskmaster. So, potentially Hasties or just Gabos. Okay, that's good. Question is, will Priest die? Do I attack here? Yeah, because I'm not blocking with Gutterbones, so I might as well attack. Nope, she's dead. That's unfortunate, but generally okay, I suppose. I technically still win this race. I'm gonna play Mina Reaper. 1, it blocks. 2, if it dies, I draw. It does damage me, but that's fine. Generally, I want to be able to get up to Moldervine Reclamation. And that's one of the reasons why I really needed Priest not to die, because I would be able to hit a 5-drop, but whatever. Spitfire. Oh, is this just a... This is just a Cavalcade deck. Finally, I'm seeing a Cavalcade deck. I mean, I attack with this for sure. Like, if he wants to double block, I will take out the Spitfire and be happy about it. Let's play a Taskmaster. Next turn, I can... Like, I can slowly get back in by getting this Priest back. I would block if it was offered to me. Interesting. So I'm fine with my opponent triple blocking the Taskmaster. I think I'm just going to do this. I'm going to decline this. I hate that it's on attack. I'm going to decline that. The unfortunate thing is I could very well just die to a Cavalcade or a double Cavalcade. Okay, that's a Skewer. Another Skewer. So I'm just dead. Yep. Unfortunately, thumbs the brakes. Nothing I really could have done about that. Losing my Priest kind of sucks. I guess technically I probably should have not kept that hand, but, you know, relatively low to the ground. Unfortunate. There's no reason I should have to go home there. Oop. I had to choose a color. I'd probably add yellow. So there are like two schools of, like, there are several different color theories and whatever. But one system has... Alright, so technically there are several. So there's one system that's like red, green, blue are primary colors. There's another that's red, yellow, blue. I like to conceptualize that. I prefer to use that for conceptualizing color complements. Because it works for me. Then there is magenta, cyan, and purple? No. I don't remember what the other one was. So you're going with a Zerta Goblin. I'm gonna go with this Priest of Forgotten Gods and hope she doesn't die. No attacks. But I'd probably add yellow. There's a bit of an issue with it being close to white. Ah, fuck off.
Did you just call me scrolly?
No, I called you an asshole. Alright, well, I assume my opponent's not going to attack here. Because their Zerta Goblin could die. That's what I thought. So I could put this back in my hand. Or I can just play Savvy Hunter now, and then next turn I could, like, Vraska, kill this, hit him. Sure, I think this is slightly better. No decks. What would the identity of yellow be, though? Like, that's the thing. It would be so hard. It would some people like the idea of getting a 6 color in Magic, even for a 1-off set. In my opinion, it's dumb. It's something to do just to do it. It doesn't add much. You know, there's not... If there's design space, Wizards is much more likely to put that into... Gotcha. My opponent has a Collision Colossus or something similar. And there was pretty much no reason for me to block there. Sure. So, let's see here. I am going to play Vraska. Going to tell this goblin to fuck off.
I won't forgive this.
I'm going to attack with my Savvy Hunter. Or do I force my opponent to have? And I can get it back with Order of Midnight, so I think it's actually fine to block with it and force them to have something like that.
I'm not finished with you.
Sure, I think that's
Not
reasonable.
by a long shot.
Yeah, I wouldn't even begin to know. I would probably give it... Oh, okay. I would probably give it a little bit more... I'll trade for this. More stack interaction. Sort of sharing the color pie with blue, but not in the same way. It wouldn't be counterspells per se. I will go ahead and sacrifice my food here. Got a Priest of Forgotten Gods. So I could Moldervine Rec here. Could Order of Midnight get back... 1, 2... Could Order of Midnight... Get Savvy Hunter back. Play Savvy Hunter. I think I want to get my Moldervine Reclamation going. And just start eating these. I could be super incorrect about it, but... I like value, what can I say? If I draw a land next turn, I might Alter Fate into Priest, Order of Midnight. It's a Gabo. But you're giving haste. Yeah, they really don't like my Vraska. It's an easy chump, because this keeps my Vraska alive. Don't really care too much about killing this right now. I gain a life and draw a card. It's okay. Well, that would have been nice to have. I'm gonna do something potentially stupid. This is a terrible idea. Do as I say, not as I do. Hey, fucking got there! So my opponent, very obviously, is going to keep the Nullhead Ferox. But now they do have to choose between one of these, and I'm set up for the following turns. Yeah, I'm totally fine with this. They have to choose between one of them. Almost certainly Liliana's going to die. I'm fine with that. If my opponent has another Zertai Goblin or a Gruul Spellbreaker, it's going to suck, but... Shifting Ceratops. Shit! Functionally the same. Damn. Yeah, I mean, that sucks. Big creatures, definitely difficult for me to deal with. Finality is okay, because it can kill this, but it's not great otherwise.
I am exhausted.
Okay, let's see. You come in tapped. You come in tapped. I'm okay with dealing 2 damage to myself. I definitely want to Priest of Forgotten Gods. Fuck. I needed to do Swamp Forest so that I could do Order of Midnight to actually put this back in my hand so I could just play double Gutterbones. I think I'm actually just going to play Taskmaster, Order of Midnight. You can't block anyway. I just play Gutterbones. Not technically great. I'm still going to be taking 11 here minimum. So if my opponent has any effect, they'd have to pay 2 for Nullhead Ferox, and then they'd be able to kill me though. But I'm relatively certain I'm dead. My opponent actually might be emoting right now. You know what? Honestly, Trankaducker, there's nothing to add to Magic. No color, in my opinion. It would just be too difficult. Then Shaggy asks, well, fuck you. Okay. Big green. Or as I like to call it, Mono Gruul. That's not awful. It's not great, but it's not awful. So I get to kill both of these. And I get to keep my Eternal Taskmaster around. Finality. Take action. Put 2 counters on you. Technically, I should have not played that, but... 4-5, which I have to chump still to get. Could still easily die. Yep, I'm dead. This is going to be a Domri. Yep, Domri, fight this. Kill me, damn.
You think I'm a crazy beast? Where do you see my mates?
Deck seems to have difficulty with large creatures. Difficulty with large creatures, you say? I didn't have too much of an issue getting mana in such a situation, so let's take this out. And I'm actually going to do 1 Cav, 1 Sprout, because I have no idea. God damn it. Cancel. Also, decks. Discard changes. I always forget that I can't just click on them. I have to drag them over. There you go. There you go. And then get this out of here. Okay. Done. I'm not sure how that's going to go. Shaggy asked a good question, though. For Brawl, do I plan on using more Planeswalkers or Legendary creatures? That really depends. That depends entirely on what all is in Standard. My assumption is that it's probably going to be Planeswalkers. Or, sorry, Legendary creatures, because I feel like there's just a little bit more variety in what they do. And that might sound, like, insane. That's a good hand. That might sound insane, but I legit think that there's slightly more variation in what I can do with the creatures compared to the Planeswalkers. But that, I think, brings up a better question of how much do you guys want to actually see Brawl content when it gets released? Because there are 30-something Planeswalkers from War of the Spark alone. Obviously, not all of them are build-aroundable. But, you know, that's still, you know, even if it's a third of that, that's 10-ish right there. Then, of course, we have all the legends that are going to be enthroned. There's all of the legends from the Ravnica sets in general. You know, there's a lot of stuff. I don't trust what you're doing at all. Okay. So I need to know, like, how often you guys want to see this stuff. So the plan is, I'm playing Bolus as every Wednesday. That's just the easiest thing for me to do with the class I have on Tuesday, right? So pretty much every Wednesday, it's going to be Bolus. I could do Tuesdays, Thursdays, Brawl days. Then Mondays, then Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays are all Standard. Oh wait, we have Historic too. So, that makes things more interesting. Do you get Hexproof or something? Yeah. Yeah, you get Hexproof. I can put my opponent into a catch-22, right? I attack with Gutterbones and Savvy Hunter, no matter which one he blocks. I can cast Deathsprout, and if he blocks Savvy Hunter, then he would lose the counter, and he would die to Savvy Hunter. If he blocks Gutterbones, he would lose the counter and die to Gutterbones. Gutterbones would also die. So I guess I'm just going to attack with Savvy Hunter. My opponent decides to block. Fool. So, no matter what my opponent does here, I should be in a fine position. Give it Hexproof, that's fine. Giving Hexproof is still correct, because it means I don't get to ramp, I don't get to put a land into play. Now, unless they have a shock or something that they want to use on like my Priest or Forgotten God or something, that might be different. But in general, they shouldn't just let this resolve. Yeah. Okay. I can in turn. And I do want to be able to get up to Syr Konrad mana, but I don't really want to use these two. I don't want to use Savvy Hunter for it. Another troll? You must be trolling me. Ahaha. Let's see. Sure. This sets me up fine, I think. Once again, I'm going to attack with Savvy Hunter. Yeah. I'm going to attack with Savvy Hunter. Even if she dies, that's fine. Well, if she gets blocked, that's fine. Because what I'm going to do is, essentially, I just want the food token. I would like to see if my opponent blocks, but I'm going to sacrifice my 2 creatures regardless. I need my food first. Not bad. Then I'm just going to do this. Yes. No! Cancel. I just realized that I would not get what I wanted. Fuck. I forgot that mana ends, or leaves the mana pool at the end of phases. That's fine, though. Next turn, I can just... Yeah, next turn I can just, like, play Liliana by sacking these 2 if I want. And I want. That, yep, that's something I want. Why would you give this to me? Like, ever. I'll target you. Submit 1. We got some draw triggers. You have a sack trigger. Hell yeah, bud. We're playing the Liliana. We're playing a Temple of Malady.
I do hope you make this battle exciting.
We're putting that on the bottom because I don't actually care all that much. And we're doing this. And we're good. Post it Ion. So, active Priest of Forgotten God does okay against big dudes. Not having a Priest of Forgotten Gods, not very good against big dudes. I'm going to eat this alive. Wait, yeah, I'm going to eat this alive. Make another creature with Liliana. Sack those creatures. And eat your war boss. All after I play Syr Konrad. I'm not even going to attack. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Just going to go ahead and target you. Sack these 2 dudes. We're going to get 2 draw triggers. Syr Konrad's going to trigger. Priest is going to trigger. We're going to have 3 draw. Our opponent would lose... I think it's just 3. No, 4, because they trigger on their own creatures dying. Good stuff. Good stuff. It's been 32 minutes. I'll play the last one. I have no idea if this is going to do well, but whatever, it's fine. Yeah, so I need to know how often you go... So my schedule could very well be... Wednesday is going to be Bolus Day, right? So then we have Historic, we have Brawl, and we have Standard. So that's 6 days. I could do two days devoted to each of these each week. So I could do Monday... Oh, that'd be a strange thing. Okay. This hand is fine. Not the best, but it's fine. Do this on turn 1, this on turn 2, this on turn 3. It's okay. Let's see. So, Monday... Well, technically the week starts on Sunday. So, Sunday Brawl. Monday Standard. Tuesday Historic. Wednesday Bolus. Let's go and get another land here. Yeah. Wednesday Bolus. Thursday, back to Brawl. Friday, back to Standard, I think is what it was. And Saturday, Historic. Sunday, going back to Brawl. Like, I think that would be a decent plan of action, as it would. But I gotta know what you all want. I want to know if you actually want to see that amount of Historic or Brawl. Obviously, I would be totally fine playing that much Historic and Brawl, because they're going to be bigger formats, right? There's going to be a bigger card pool. It will be easier for me to think of interesting strategies. I'll be able to rehash old videos. Unfortunately, not super old ones, because Wizards refuses to give us all of the cards that we want. I'll attack in. My opponent's not threatening with an attack. They're threatening me with board wipe. Specifically, time wipe, I believe, is what is played in this deck. Luckily, though, if they did just board wipe next turn, then I would be able to find... So, like, if they board wiped, I assumed I'd be getting at least 1 land off of this. So I would be able to just find both of these back and play at least the Midrange Reaper. So that wouldn't be too bad. These should be over here. There we go. But let's see what they have. They could just have a Circuitous Roots. Don't care about that at all. Gate Colossus. Darn. Didn't get a land. So if I had a land, I'd be able to play a Cav. So I could attack with the Gutterbones, but then there's no guarantee that my opponent is... My opponent would, if they were good, block with a 0-3. Notably, they didn't play a land. But they would just block with a 0-3. So if I attack with my Min Reaper, they might just block with my Arboreal Grazer, with their Arboreal Grazer, letting it die, but knowing that they're not going to let me draw a card. If I attack with both, it's going to put them to 10, so maybe they would. It does mean I'm, you know, down on D. I'm totally fine with this. Because I really need to draw a land. Not a land. I did get another Min Reaper, though, so I can at least block this. So that's not too terrible. They're on 6 cards in hand, though. Land? Not rude. Okay. I mean, that gives them more land, but they don't get any value out of it right now, so that's totally fine. They're on 5 color. Okay. If they attack, I block. They decided not to attack. I guess they are relatively afraid. So I'll just attack again. Can I get a land? What the fuck? So I'm going to find, I suppose. Get both of these. Play my priest out. And of course, next turn, if my priest lives, I'm not even gonna have enough mana to play Liliana. Never mind. Shit. Okay, another route. Gates of Blaze kills their Colossus, so you also have to pay for those. So one could just attack with their Colossus here. Yeah. If I get a land, I still wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to play Liliana. I could just Cav though. What the hell? What the actual hell? She would give me 2 black. So I can play this. I draw a card. Ugh, I could play this for 0. Then I could sack it with Priest. Force them to sack their Arboreal Grazer. If I'm lucky, I draw a land, in which I would play a Cav, sack the Priest, kill Gate Colossus. That's Garbo. What the fuck am I talking about? No, right. Because this is, I can only do it for 2. I was thinking, oh no, I could just use it to kill Arboreal Grazer, but I can't. Gonna go no, we're just gonna play Mana Reaper here. I'm not gonna try and go for the Hail Mary. I think it's foolish. Maybe this deck does just need 24 lands. I've been playing a lot of high-end cards. High CMC cards, not high-end cards. My cards are garbage. Also, my deck arrangement is a mess right now. There we go. Opponent has 5 full cards in hand. I block with Mana Reaper all day. So I would like to not die. Now, let's see. Do you have some sort of big thing? No? Okay. I'm just going to draw a card. Can I have a land? That is a land. I'll take a 1-drop. Getting a 1-drop would mean that if I also drew a land... never mind. No, I can't surmount this anymore. All because of my land situation. Wow, it's a 1-drop. But they have this now. And I can't deal with this card. Yeah, there's nothing I can do now. Well, I guess that's not entirely true. Play Gutterbones. Yeah, play Gutterbones. Sack those 2. Target you. Sack these 2. They sack Arboreal Grazer. I play Cav, sack Priest, kill their Great Gatebreaker Ram. Main deck Autumn Spell. Can I concede? Man, that sucked. Alright, yeah. So I think this deck probably is going to need an additional land. Yeah, I was too greedy. I was just too greedy. Chuck another land in there. Not going to do anything about the card count. Let's go to the mastery system. How many of these stupid orbs do I have? 2? Yeah. What am I at? I'm at 90. It's in 13 days? Okay, I'm fine then. That was the deck? Oh, right. Might as well show you some of the cards. My posture's terrible right now. Shut up. Don't judge me. Knight of Ebon Legion, I was thinking when this was a bit more aggressive. Doesn't really make the cut. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Assassin's Trophy. Kills things. It's a good removal spell. But I just don't like giving my opponent lands in this super Wild West metagame. Glowspore Shaman and Gorging Vulture were both includes when the Knight person was a little bit more integral to the deck. However, I did ease back up on that a little bit. Storev and Underarm Lich were both in there as kind of more graveyard value. So these, all 4 of these technically could go together, but I actually took these 2 out together, and I took these 2 out together. Essentially, Storev is great at just getting back these cheap creatures, but I figure Golgari Findbroker was a little bit better for what I wanted. And then Underarm Lich, I just had too many 5-drops, essentially. But Underarm Lich works really nicely with the Knight at putting creatures into your bin. Unfortunately, they both cost 5. Bantu gets to sack things, which is awesome, but competed in the 5-drop slot. Casualties of War was really cool, but I didn't want to play a 6-drop. That's pretty much it. I really like this deck, but right now it's just kind of like a Golgari value, and I really want to see where food goes. Speaking of food, I'd like to thank my lovely patrons, especially Zin, Rexel, Croft, and Friggod, for keeping the food on the table and supporting your boy. If you'd like to join them and support me, you can find links to that down in the description below, or press that join button, become a channel member today. I do, of course, hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, go and tap that like button, add subscription, share mana pool, cast a comment to the comment section down below, pass the turn, and the vid to some of your friends, answer my pinned question below, and until next time, all will be one.